With another season gone, another season will arrive, which means we are only a few weeks away until the summer 2024 anime season officially starts, which also means this will be the last season that actually will qualify properly for the 2025 Anime Awards. I hate you, Crunchyroll. Now, initially, I didn't think the summer 2024 lineup was going to be all that impressive, especially compared to spring 2024 when we had a huge lineup of new anime. I mean, new seasons of Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia come out, 3 of the biggest Isekais came out with their new seasons in Konosuba, Jobless Reincarnation, and Reincarnated as a Slime. We got a whole new revamp for the Spice and Wolf series, and also on top of it, we just got cool new anime like Kaiju No. 8 and Go Go Loser Ranger. It was hard to see summer actually topping it. And while I still don't think summer can realistically top what spring put out, I think the difference in quality is actually going to be a lot less than I think a lot of us are going to expect. Spring was the season of a lot of good sequels coming out, and summer might be the season where a lot of good new anime appears. But as usual, you've heard me ramble on for long enough, so how about we just get into it and talk about what I'll be watching for the summer 2024 season. First up on our list of animes, we have Osho No Ko Season 2. Yeah, I know I just said that summer 2024 was going to be the season of new anime. Get off my back! But regardless, I am glad we do not have to wait for another season of Osho No Ko. It was one of the best animes last year, and I suspect it's going to be no different than this year. It seems like this season's going to revolve between Akane and Kana, and them vying for the best performance in the show that they're working on, with Aqua somewhere being in the middle between all of this. And with us following that plot point, it seems that we'll get 2 more additional male characters who seem to either be on the side of one another or doing their own thing. The trailer does hint that one of each boy will side with either Kana or Akane, so it seems like they either might have their own rivalry or they'll be helping each girl in their own performance to try to make it better. The only thing I didn't see very much of is anything having to do with Ruby and her music career and her music group. But with Kana being a part of the group and her doing the show, I assume there's going to be some conflict of interest and weird scheduling happening to do. So that's how I assume it's going to be incorporated, because I assume it's going to be incorporated somehow. I just don't completely know yet. And of course with Osho No Ko, I expect there to be a lot of exploration in the entertainment industry, continuing on from how it did it in season 1 onto season 2, and having to do more with how TV shows work and the potential nepotism and other aspects that could make something good or something bad. So yeah, needless to say, I cannot wait to watch the second season of Osho No Ko. I am ready, I am prepared, and I hope not to cry again. I hope not to cry again. Next anime that we have on the docket is Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was going to be a generic romance anime where it was going to be typical tsundere slowly falls in love with main character boy. So seeing it so high up on the list of anticipated anime, I suspected what exactly makes this one stand out from the rest of the romances that are coming out this year. Now, of course, the title is very literal, as Alya uses Russian to hide her feelings from main character boy. However, we come to realize watching the previews and reading the description that main character boy knows Russian, and so he knows what Alya is saying, which changes the complete dynamic of the actual show. I thought originally it was going to be a gag that obviously they're supposed to be speaking Japanese or English, depending on, which audio version you're watching, and Alya would be speaking in Russian but not really know, technically confessing to her lover, but the lover never understanding. But the dude understands. She assumes he doesn't understand, but he does. So from the jump, main character boy knows how main character girl feels. That is actually an interesting dynamic that they can explore. Most romance animes build up to the confession, build up to the moment where both main characters can actually confess to each other and actually fall in love. But we're already kind of at that point with this show, and so the dynamic changes from when the confession happens to basically what happens next. How does the boy treat the girl now knowing her feelings but not knowing the other one? Or rather, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what direction this could go in. It also validates a lot of things too, like why he puts up with her tsundere actions. and why he will do certain things for her because he already knows her feelings. I guess it could revolve around him trying to confess now, but then you also have to deal with if he knew and if, you know, that was a whole lie. And there's a lot of avenues this show could go to that can make it interesting, but a lot that could also make it boring. But I could see why this is high up because it is different, it is unique, it is an interesting play on the whole tsundere and main character boy dynamic. So I'm actually excited to see what direction it goes. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. I've been on a romance binge recently and I've been watching a lot of good ones, so I'd like to keep that trend going with this one in particular. Next anime we're going to be talking about is Isekai Suicide Squad, and this one I have been waiting for so goddamn long. When I originally heard that the Suicide Squad was going to be turned into an isekai, I thought the worst. I genuinely thought that this was just going to be another garbage isekai with a dumb premise and it was just going to be stupid. Watching the previews, watching the animation, watching the potential storyline, this actually seems like one of the most interesting isekai to come out in a very long time, in a world where isekai as a genre is completely saturated. This stands to be one of the most interesting concepts for an isekai in months, potentially years. Not counting some of the big ones, obviously. Now, obviously, I'm going to be excited for it as someone who is a comic book fan and somebody who is an anime fan, seeing one of my favorite groups in comic book in recent memory being turned into a medium that I love so much that I literally have a YouTube channel about it, into a genre that I have been begging for a dose of originality and a dose of creativity. It's just prime for me to just fall in love in this. And I'm going to be completely honest, this is either going to be one of the best isekais to have come out in a very long time, or it's going to be a beautiful disaster of epic proportions. And I'm here for either outcome, honestly. This new project also poses a kind of issue or a kind of want that I haven't really suspected from anime, and that is particularly the voice acting. Now, some of you are probably looking at me with crazy eyes being like, what are you talking about, Mise? Of course, voice acting has always been important. It has always been a crucial part of anime. That's why the sub versus dub debates have always been a raging debate that still go on till this day. And while you are right, you're not wrong. That's not what I mean. Obviously, whether you're a dub watcher or a sub watcher, you always want your voice actors to put on the best performance that they can and give it their all. But the thing I'm talking about is, you don't ever think of a particular voice for someone. Or rather, if you do, that voice has already been established for years. One of the most notable that I could think of when it comes to anime is Goku, and more recently, Satoru Gojo. Those are two people that if their VAs were to change almost in an instant, people would notice and be in a complete frenzy. Isekai Suicide Squad, though, is coming in specifically with the dub with preset voices. Now, obviously, the two biggest ones that I can think of for Isekai Suicide Squad is Harley Quinn and the Joker. Those two have very distinct and iconic voices for their character. So I'm very interested in watching the dub to see who's performing them and how that performance goes. Now, the other members of the Suicide Squad don't have very distinct voices, but I do have an idea of what they would sound like, and so I hope they sound somewhat similar to their counterparts. Although I am begging, if there is a god, please let John Cena play Peacekeeper. Please let John Cena play Peacekeeper. I don't ask for a lot. I don't ask for a lot. Listen to me. I don't ask for a lot. I don't ask for anything at all. But if I could get John Cena to play Peacekeeper in this isekai anime, that would make my day. The memes. Think of the memes. Think of so many of the memes that could come out from that. I need that in my, So yeah, needless to say, with everything I've rambled about, at least with this one, Isekai Suicide Squad is definitely going to be something I, at the very least, pay attention to very carefully. Next anime we're going to be talking about is Days with My Stepsis. I don't know what to tell you. It definitely sounds like the way it fucking sounds. If I'm being honest, realistically, it doesn't sound that bad. But I get a teensy tiny wee bit of Domestic Girlfriend from this. Now, it's not on the same level as Domestic Girlfriend. It is way less problematic. But just seeing a romance having to do with a stepsister, Look, it's anime, it doesn't give me any good vibes. It does look wholesome, it does look good, the animation looks well, and the story looks like it could actually delve into some pretty important topics. But you can't blame my hesitancy with this. It does look good enough to where hopefully it could exceed my expectations and not be smut, and I don't expect it to be complete smut, but it has to do with loving your stepsister. It's gonna be smut. Next anime on the list is Neir Automata Season 2. Now, many people might not actually know this, but I actually love Neir Automata. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's one of the only games to have ever made me cry ever. Now, the anime itself didn't necessarily do that, as I think playing the game and being that interactive with it versus just watching the story unfold does have its different level of impact. However, I have to say that the story has still been really good so far. Now, I don't know if this would be a spoiler or not, but this will be a spoiler to anyone who potentially may have played the game expecting to go in experiencing the same story. It's really not. I wasn't sure if things were changing for the anime, or if I had just not played the game for that long and I just forgot certain details, but it wasn't until we got more of an interaction with Adam and Eve is when I realized things are changing. This is not the same timeline, and if you know anything about the creator Yoko Taro, this is a good sign. This potentially means that the anime is its own timeline, and certain events that do happen and don't happen within the game and the anime are gonna change how we see things. There are some things that are the same, which are some of the really big major beats, but there are things that are changing that are still pretty significant for the timeline of the anime, and so I'm very invested to see what direction this goes in. I also do like how each of the little skits at the end of every episode are technically the equivalent of finding all of the secret endings within the video game, as each one always ends with a different type of death for our Your Hot Bots. So that's a bit fun. Long story short, I cannot wait for more Season 2 and to see what direction our story gives us. Next anime that's on the list is My Friend Nokotan, and Jesus Christ, this anime is a goddamn fever dream. First off, let me point out this. Even without an episode coming out, not even a single episode has come out for this anime yet, and it already has a popular meme in the anime community, where it's just one of the main girls in the show dancing continuously to a deer. I don't know how an anime ends up getting popular without having a single episode already coming out, but that's impressive to me. Memes aren't a deciding factor, but it's a good sign that people are gonna like your anime and you have a fan base that's willing to indulge with your content. But aside from the memes itself, this show was actually pretty damn funny. I remember watching both of the previews that came out for this, and I was already dying of laughter just from the previews alone. I can only imagine what the actual 23 episode length could possibly hold in all that insanity. I'm telling you, if you genuinely like comedy, this might be one you want to look out for. Next anime on the list is Arti, My Dear Moment. Honestly, everything I've seen from the previews and the tone of every scene, this looks like this is gonna be a pretty heavy anime. Given the fact that main character girl is going to be a robot and seems like she's somebody who influences everybody else in the story, it's safe to say that it's going to be some form of exploration with robots and feelings and, you know, am I human or is she more human than I am with the way I feel and the whole appreciation of life and all that stuff. And this is one of the ones, and there's always one each season, where I sit there with my gut and I say, this might actually be fire. This right here might actually be something that I vibe with, and so there's a good chance that this anime is going to be good, or at the very least something that I personally give good praise to. Next anime we're going to be talking about is My Sensei is Otokonoko.
A few minutes later.
Otokonoko, there we go. I'm not gonna lie, this anime is all about cross-dressing, or at least the particular character that we're going to be following is a cross-dresser themselves. So, this is either going to be a very tone-deaf story, or a story that is approached pretty well. And honestly, given anime's history, it's most likely going to be the latter. It does seem like it has a wholesome vibe to it while also trying to delve into the topics pretty seriously and very delicately. So I have high hopes that this will turn out to, at the very least, be a decent story to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much of the story as I kind of wanted to keep this one a bit of a secret as I didn't want to really delve into it, but I will also say the description wasn't very clear as to what exactly it is about. So I'm going with this with a very open mind in hopes that this turns out to actually be good. Next up is Makeine losing too many heroines, and I'm going to be completely honest, this one is one that is only on here because I think I saw one of my mutuals on Twitter mention that this was going to be an anime to look out for. I'm not joking, that is the only reason this is on here. I'm not saying this anime is going to be bad in any way, it's one of those animes that don't just catch my interest in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure it's going to be a perfectly serviceable anime, and an anime that it's probably going to be talked about a bit. It's probably going to be one that is one of those sleeper hits, but it's one that I don't expect going too high into people's attention, and I would love to be proven wrong, as I can never hate an anime for actually blowing away my expectations or beating up my expectations in a way that is in a positive way, not a negative way. So here's hoping that that one mutual on my Twitter actually meant it. I wish I had more to say about something like this. I really do. But honestly, I just don't have much in terms of interest to talk about. So here's hoping it at least is a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. I feel like that's a good score. I'm also not scoring it now. I'm just using that as the base of what I think it could be. Don't assume that that is the score that I am giving it now. Next up, we have Love is Indivisible by Twin. And I need to make a correction of a previous note. I said that the stepsister anime was the one that felt like Domestic Girlfriend. But this is the one that felt a bit more like Domestic Girlfriend in the sense of the love triangles. I'm not going back and correcting that. I'm just hoping that you guys watch far enough in this video to know about the correction. And I see why I mixed them up, because this is one that I also thought had a weird incestuous vibe to it. But no, it's just two sisters like the same guy, and one asks him out and the other one may not say it, and one has feelings and the other one... It seems really complicated. It's a love triangle. Love triangles are complicated, but they make for good stories. So I'm hoping that this story has a complicated love triangle that makes it, you know, kind of interesting. Now, of course, with these type of things, I am definitely hoping for a bit of drama, a bit of suspense, a little bit of foul play and such. Although, given by the title, I can very much see the boring aspect of this turning out to be that both sisters just agreed to love him at the same time, which... No, I don't want that. I want either one or the other to do it. I need one to date that boy. If both of them do some weird shit, I'm calling this a failure. I don't know how to make that sound any better. That's genuinely the best way that I could explain it. Someone in this needs to feel pain and learn from that pain and understand that pain and apply that pain in some sort of way. Something bad needs to happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm just evil. That could be a perfect outcome of what I'm doing right now. I guess it's a very roundabout way of me just saying, I want the ending I want. Please don't give me the boring ending. Give me something interesting. Next up on the docket, we have My Wife Has No Emotion. And originally, I thought this anime was going to be very similar to My Happy Marriage, in the same way that the main character in that show, Mio, is able to find herself and find her path to actually stand up for herself and become stronger, in a way through her own husband's doing. But that's not like that at all, because the main girl is a robot, and then it got me to thinking, why are there two related anime stories with emotions? There's not many. It just feels weird that there's like two. And you think this one could be leading into weird stuff, but no. Looking at the previews, this actually seems really, really wholesome. Where it just seems like a guy who, you know, the world culture in Japan is overdoing him and he has no time for himself. So he invests in a robot to help him around. And this in turn just ends up having them spending a lot of time with each other. And the robot herself just ends up exploring emotions and how something like that could gain emotions through the people around her. I actually think it could be like a really sweet story. I don't think it's going to be anything jaw-dropping or anything that's profound or anything, but it's something that might touch the soul a little bit and something that might actually get you to care a little bit about our companions made of metal. Especially since the two of them seem like they actually have a very cute dynamic. So I'm expecting this to be somewhat in the lines of like a Senko-san type of story, where it goes more into the taking care aspect and having both of them feel good and explore each other, which that sounds fun. Next up on the list, we have Plus Size Elf. And oh my god, I'm not gonna lie, I only have this on here mainly because I know someone's going to bring it up. I know someone's going to mention it. I saw other people mention it. I know you guys want me to talk about it, so at the very least, I'm going to talk about it here. I mean, there's really not much to it. Obviously, this anime is going to get the attention of a certain audience, which is fine. There are animes like that exist for that purpose, and that is fine. Me personally, I'm only really talking about it because I know someone would have brought it up in the comment section. I personally have no real interest in it, not because of the topic mentioned, but mainly because I don't think it'll have any true substance. I'm all for consuming something if I think there's going to at least be some entertainment and or some quality of it. Do I think this will have quality? We'll see. Nothing screams out that it will have quality, but I stand to be corrected. All I know is that this is going to be a show that will definitely have some interesting fan art made of it. Our next anime is going to be Shy Season 2. Wait, holy shit, wait. Shy? Shy got a Season 2? Okay, listen, you kind of have to understand, this is an anime that I wasn't expecting to get much traction, as I watched a couple of episodes of it, and I kind of lost interest halfway through. It wasn't a particularly bad anime, it was just one as I've seen already done, especially with the whole hero aspect of it. There wasn't really anything that I thought would have warranted to get a second season. I mean, hey, I guess it cultivated enough in the audience to get a season 2. Hell, I might go back to season 1 and finish it so I could see what the hell was the hubbub about. Now, it may be too soon to put it into this bracket, but if this keeps getting more seasons, Shy might be put into the category that I like to call anime that I rarely ever see get talked about that somehow have multiple seasons. Two anime that come to mind when I think of this is Golden Kamui and Date Alive. Like, I don't see anybody ever talk about any of those animes. I don't see no memes, I don't see edits, I rarely see any type of discussion for those anime, yet both of those anime I'm pretty sure are on season 4 or season 5. I don't know who is keeping up with this, and it might be one of those situations where it's just a Japanese market thing, so I never see it, which is totally fair, but unironically, if you have any idea in the comments for like those two animes, including this one, if the Japanese audience is the one that's keeping this alive, please let me know, because it's one of those things that just baffles me and sits there and makes me think, why the hell did this get a second season? And again, I'm not saying it's so bad it shouldn't have, or that any of the other anime I just listed are so bad that they shouldn't have. I just want to know who's keeping this alive, because it seems to me like I never hear much discussion about it, and it gets multiple seasons. It just kind of baffles me and kind of surprises me, and I just kind of want to know for my own sake. Honestly, just for the hell of it, I might just watch season 2 and put it on the docket just for the curiosity to just be out there to see who else is watching it. Such a weird way how that makes full circle. It's so weird. The last anime that we're going to be talking about for this is Mayanako Punch. And I'm only putting this on here because I really like the art design and I really like the character design. Oh yeah, this anime is totally going to be run of the mill. I don't expect this to be any more than like a 5 or a 6, but I like how wild the characters look compared to some of the other people, where they're obviously the most main character energy, and if being honest, it gives me a little bit of a Trigger vibe, so anything that potentially looks like Trigger is obviously going to be something I want to try. Other than that though, like I said, I don't think this is going to be a super great or super amazing anime. It's not even going to be a hidden gem. I expect this to be very run-of-the-mill, very 5 out of 10, very nothing. But it might be pretty to look at. It might be something of one of those turn your brain off and just kind of watch anime. And hey, sometimes we need those type of anime. We need anime like that to just give us a couple of padding on our stats and to give us something to just have in the background while we do stuff. And so, as we reach the final of the video, let's go over the 7 anime that we are going to be following week for week in our new series, which I'll talk about more in the end. The 7 anime that we will be doing weekly discussions on is going to be Osho No Ko Season 2, Isekai Suicide Squad, Neir Automata Season 2, My Friend Nokotan, Shy Season 2, Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian, and Arti, My Dear Moment. And yeah, that's it. That's all the animes that I'm going to try to pay attention to this season, and the 7 anime that I will definitely be talking about week to week. However, I will say that the week to week channel won't necessarily be on here, as I would like to announce that I, yours truly, is officially signed to Infinity Cast, a UK podcast network where I will be doing my weekly anime reviews for that channel. These reviews will be quick little reviews, but ultimately it should come out to at the very least an hour, as I will try to go into detail of what I did and did not like about each of those episodes for the 7 anime that we said we would be talking about. Now, I don't know how the upload process is going to work yet, whether we're going to be uploading on both channels or if I'm just going to be uploading for Infinity Cast, but I would advise all of my subscribers to go and subscribe to that channel, as they have been really cool to work with so far, and I'm actually really excited to be making content with them. Do not worry, however, as I do plan on having way more in-depth conversations on a live stream on my channel, particularly either every Friday or every Saturday. I don't know yet, but it should be happening within a few weeks, and I will be having an episode 0 stream very soon to just talk about my thoughts on all the anime that I do plan on watching and I do plan on discussing about. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it around. I do appreciate it if you do so, and let me know what anime you guys are excited for the 2024 anime season. My name is Mise Kurosaki, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night, evening, morning, or wherever the hell you are. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I'm like so gay.